Hello, I'm Rob Grimes, the CEO of the IFBTA, and I'm very pleased today to host our Meet Our Member series with Chris Adams, the Global Head of Food and Beverage Strategy for Oracle, one of our first global industry partners. So, Chris, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
We were talking about Connect, and we were talking about, the big guys at Connect were presenting, but you also talked about people with 10 units and under. And I think that there's a perception or challenge out there that people are afraid to work with global companies, sometimes down at the local level. And that's where a lot of the local startups come up, that do things. What is it that they really should know about Oracle, about Symphony, that makes it as much of a personalized small to medium business or even an independence business solution as much as it is the big enterprise people?
It's funny, when you have a kind of name like Oracle on the door, it comes with a lot of assumptions, and that is certainly one that we've had for a while. That Oracle Food and Beverage only focuses on the big guys, only deals with large enterprise. One thing that we recognized a while ago is that even if you take the big guys, they're often run by individuals. The franchisee community is something that really leads to that ultimate brand. And so we worked really hard to take the platform itself, and we kind of set internally the goal that you should be able to get Symphony up and running for a net new restaurant within one day. And so that meant we had to look at the product, we had to look at our commercials, we had to look at how do we work with partners who can implement the solution, and kind of bring all of that together in different packages that are much easier to consume.
Right.
So,
I was going to say, by the way, if you make that kind of statement, what you're also saying is that it's easy to implement or possibly even implement yourself. Because if you're talking about in a day, you need to configure and you need to bring that up. That's a implementation piece as much as it is anything else.
Totally. And that ranges from kind of having e-learning through to just, simpler configuration tools, to even having APIs where you can suck in that data from a third-party system. The one thing that we launched again during COVID, new commercial offers like give the hardware for free. Just what we call the 1-for-1 program that gets rid of that CapEx, which a lot of our customers had challenges getting access to. We've tried to do it in a way that is very transparent. There's a lot of talk out there about kind of transaction fees and using transaction fees to kind of make up on the other side of things. We felt that transparency is key. So we'll continue to take that platform, make it easier to consume, down to single unit restaurants, but make sure that commercially it's something that really is industry leading.
And it really isn't one size fits all either, because I wouldn't want people to think that you could make the statement that you have one product and it can do everything. But on the other hand, you really need to customize it either by different industry segments, by geography, by size of customer. So it's really not a one size fits all, but it's a product that is configurable to many different sizes.
No, that's a true statement, and certainly I've seen single unit operators that have more complexity in them than 1,000 store chain. And so for us, the goal is take one platform that you configure versus having to go and do expensive customization. And that comes back to having a great ecosystem of partners where if you want to use that labor management, that online ordering, you want to use our online ordering, that's fine, and when we just kind of turn on whatever makes sense for that particular customer. And so, certainly that means the solution's not only going to fit what you need today, but as you grow and evolve and maybe become 2 units, global expansion, the platform's going to kind of be able to keep up with you. That's the goal as we build this thing.
Well, I think it's also about partnerships. And you have mentioned, the API, you've mentioned how easy it is for people to integrate. I also think about challenges bring interesting partnerships as well, either between the operators and other operators or service segments and things like that, and also the technology providers. You've probably seen a few things that you didn't think you would ever see over the last year and a half. Are you able to share with us perhaps, an operator side thing that you just never thought would happen? And boy, that's really interesting, but, the mother of invention, right? The challenge,
Right.
and maybe something on the supplier side that Oracle got into that you didn't expect you were going to do as well.
Yeah, it is amazing. You talk about innovation, just accelerating so much throughout this. I remember I was in Atlanta just before lockdown, and in a Chick-fil-A line, and seeing, it was an extremely hot day, and literally seeing ice packs strapped to the back of the queue busting tablets, and thinking, wow, that's something that we didn't think about when we built our product. I mean, the one that I'm excited about is just seeing what some of our partners are doing when it comes to location-based capabilities. Now being able to see literally pinpoint accuracy as a consumer walks into a store or goes through a drive-through loop, and some of the stuff they're doing with that really, I think, is going to help drive the kind of the customer experience 2.0, where it's no longer the frankly somewhat clunky experience of you as you're driving having to check in. Just let all of that happen for you. So I'm really excited to see where all of that will be taken. You mentioned things we've learned from a supplier perspective. The amount of education our team have had to get on global logistics. I mean, we're, again, lucky we've got one of the biggest supply chains globally, but when my team know the name literally of boats that are waiting at Los Angeles harbor, it's been an education that I never thought I'd have to put my team through.
Well, that's interesting because you face the same issues that many of the operators faced as well when it came to supply chain. And, people forget, that we're connected globally, even for the shipment of terminals and everything else out there. So that's a great story, by the way, knowing the name of the ship. So, and hopefully the ship didn't go down the Suez Canal, because, then we'd really, that really could have messed things up even more on it. Unless you're feeding the ships, then all of a sudden you got a boost, right? Great. Well, thank you very much. And on behalf of the IFBTA, we hope you've enjoyed our Meet Our Member series with Oracle and with Chris Adams, the Global Head of Food and Beverage Strategy. And we look forward to seeing all of you again soon in person for the next interview. So thank you very much for joining us today.